In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. So, dear viewers, today we are all privileged with my effort in this moment. You read the title correctly, but how accurately? Could there be 3 steps to being a divine person? The immediate answer to the title this lecture is giving is that God, the system admin of this existential system, knows. That's the first answer, okay? The first answer is that truth isn't wrong, okay? So God knows what I can never know about anyone else, for example. But we cannot ignore the question because the question is heavy. That means in this modern world in 2025, if I was to somehow capture this moment like a film and for the future generations, guys, it's like we're living in a world where humanity is too bound by the desire to enjoy the luxuries of his own making rather than wonder about the world that was not of human making. So I'm pretty much saying, like, if somebody asked me what are there 3 steps to being a divine person, I would say divinity is the relationship of the higher power with the lower power. Do you understand? That means when we come to religion, I am not like an authority. No, like humans are just simulated entities being tested in a simulated testing zone, pretty much. Inside a divine surveillance state, like, you know, when I see, like, I don't know how to explain it, but when I see someone who doesn't believe in the depth of reality, I see someone hiding under a blanket that they have never seen what's on the other side. It's like, dear viewers, you are beings, and you are beings that before you could lie, you were being true. They're like children and drunk people don't lie, right? And to be honest, I think any person who wants to work with original information in reality doesn't lie. How far can our awareness truly go? The 3, I'm pretty much saying, like, if somebody, I'll go back to this, if somebody's like, sorry guys, to continue, I just got a message I was reading on the phone that was just kind of illegal, but anyways, to keep going. I am, as a human soul in history, daring to answer this question. But my first answer is that there's limits to human understanding, and the system admin truly knows what's going on. But if somebody said, hey, is it possible for there to be 3 steps, that there could be a divine person, or 3 steps to becoming or being a divine person? Okay? Now, when you hear a sentence like that, you shouldn't react into an opinion yet. Do you know? Like, sometimes I think it's fun to play hard to get with your own mind's absolutist opinions, you know? Absolutist vibe opinions, you know? Anyways, if we ask the question, is there anything in human history so far that can explain a divine person in 3 steps? And you might not believe this, but before even me and you existed, there has been. What you really find on this planet, on this place, in this place that we are, is the activation of intelligent expression and its governance. And right now, you're in 2025, we're witnessing a species that is governing itself individualistically, but because its awareness acts as the whole moment, it cannot be not responsible for everything. It's as if you saved the concept, but what about the context? It's as if, wait a minute, if we're being tested, what is the outcome of the test inside this simulation? What is the system admin looking for in our existence? There are ways and approaches. For me, strangely, the 3 steps that I will share now, these are not my opinions. Like the way I'm saying it, yes, it's like I'm saying it based on my ability to communicate. But I'm saying at the same time, these concepts and some views I'm sharing, they are more ancient than me. Do you know? And just because I share them doesn't mean like it's the value just belongs to my voice now. It's no. For me, it's we have to allow the world to breathe anew in the mind of man. We cannot ignore how greatness maybe is like being defeated in front of our eyes. People are becoming, in some sense, souls that have been acting soulless for such a long time that they identify more as a machine than an essence, essential being, you know? If life was only about physical stuff, the purpose of life would be like, we would be a civilization that would be like a giant gym membership. Everybody would be jacked in that civilization. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you could do 1,000 push-ups, that would be like, you know, any kid could do that in that gym civilization. What I'm trying to say is, I am not a perfect person, and this is not a perfect world. Yet it is an intelligent one. That is the blessing of our eyes, that there's intelligence here. Intelligence is another way of saying that there is a space, and then there is substance to the space. So within this space is like simultaneously being what's in it, the landscape. And you as a conscious agent in the moment, you're like a system of biological intelligence that for some strange reason has an awareness to be a divine person. like all I can say about it really is this, okay? In 2023, I completed any sort of spiritual life I had, and I came into a resolution, which is a religious resolution, Muslim, which means that I have accepted my inferiority in the presence of higher power. So really what it means to be a divine person, it's like there's 8 billion human beings, each of them are in their own simulated sphere of knowing. They've simulated the meaning into what they see to be a character in a story, to even be anything, to be able to even believe. And reality is shifting from something that is being more contained in ideology to being more something that it's like your true nature is like you have become a soul when you are in the presence of your creator. Okay, I don't know how people are spiritual without acknowledging a system admin to reality. And the highest possible way this system admin can be fathomed is one that imagination cannot reach, cannot touch. That means to be Muslim is like to be a being that believes the original power to reality is beyond this simulated earth we're in. And to establish a relationship with a higher power, today it's like, oh my God, sacredness, divinity. In the future, divinity will be normality. What is not normal now is the conditioning of how our ancestors reacted. Like, take that in. To continue, a part of like my purpose of giving this lecture is there's something I was in Dubai, I don't know, months ago, in city center, Deira City Center Mall, in the balcony of like this Dunkin' Donuts or something. And I was there, you know, just having a cappuccino and just for a moment being in that heat and just wondering about reality and wondering about like, okay, what happens now? Not like someone who has any emotion attached to the moment yet. And I searched on ChatGPT, right? And I searched for what is the highest realm in the Holy Quran, okay? And I wanted to read that whole conversation with ChatGPT about this just for those ideas to like be like out there. Like that's one purpose of giving this lecture. The other purpose is really for me to try to explain to you that if it was possible for there to be 3 steps to being a divine person, what could they be and how could that make sense? And even though reactively we're like impossible, but let's just say the human mind has an ability to wonder about that. It's as if it's authorized. Do you know what's happening really on this planet? It's like 8 billion creatures, right? And they're all making decisions. And the whole, we've somehow united in this kind of tribal society, right? Like we may think it's not tribal now, but in reality, we are not a united species yet because we have found comfort and luxury in our uniqueness. It's as if the human being is born and how is their attention piloted? I'm gonna read this ChatGPT thing. I said to ChatGPT 5, what is the Holy Quran? So I'm Muslim, by the way. I've mentioned that, I think. What does the Holy Quran exactly say about reaching the highest level and realm? But I'm also, guys, a fearless Muslim in explaining how I'm being Muslim too. So there's depth to everything. Anyways, I'm going to read this. So I asked ChatGPT, what does the Holy Quran exactly say about reaching the highest level and realm? The Holy Quran doesn't use modern terms like in quotations highest realm the way we might, but it does describe the loftiest ranks. I'm reading ChatGPT, guys. It says, but it does describe the loftiest ranks a human can reach, both spiritually and in the hereafter. These levels are expressed in the terms of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reward and degrees in brackets darajat. Here are the main references. The highest rank in Islam is al-muk. I'm not Arab, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's mukarrabun. Al-mukarrabun. So it's like these are those human beings, the highest rank, where they are near to the system admin. The system admin is not an ideological construct, folks. It's like you get close to it by the system admin's will. It says, so I'm just going to keep reading this. So ChatGPT says, 1, the highest rank, nearness to Allah, al-mukarramun. Allah distinguishes between ordinary believers and those brought nearest to Him. In Surah Al-Waqi'ah 56:7-11, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and you will be in 3 categories. So those on the right, what are those on the right? And those on the left, what are those on the left? And the forerunners, the forerunners. It is they who will be the nearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to God, to the one and only truth, the system beyond reality. The Quran calls them al-mukarrabun, those brought near. This is the highest spiritual station. And believe it or not, and even though still in 2025, a lot of people's grandparents are at this station. Their traditional immigrant grandparents are like, they're already there. We're like, why? So that's just fascinating, guys. So keep that in mind. 2, Al-Firdaus, the highest garden. The Holy Quran describes Jannat al-Firdaus as the supreme realm of paradise. In Surah Al-Kahf 18:107-108, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, indeed those who believe and do righteous deeds, they will have the gardens of Al-Firdaus as lodging, wherein they will abide forever. The Prophet ﷺ later explained that that Al-Firdaus is the highest part of paradise. Al-Firdaus is the highest part of paradise, directly beneath the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we go to 3, it says degrees. That means it's sharing this view, darajat of believers. The Holy Quran repeatedly says people are ranked by degrees according to their faith and deeds. In Surah Al-Imran 3:163, they are in varying degrees in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing of what they do. This means that there's not just one, in quotations, highest level, ChatGPT says, but a hierarchy. Martyrs, truthful ones, prophets, and the righteous all occupy different exalted stations. 4, the station of truth. In brackets, Maqad Sadiq. Another description of the supreme realm is in Surah Al-Ghamar 54:54-55. Indeed, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, indeed the righteous will be in a secure place with gardens and springs, seated in truth near a sovereign, perfect in ability. The Maqad Sadiq, in brackets, seat of truth, means being in the highest nearness and honor with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 5. Ultimate victory. The Holy Quran links the highest realm with ultimate triumph. In Surah Al-Nisa 469, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, whoever obeys Allah and the Messenger, they will be with those upon whom Allah has bestowed favor. The prophets, the steadfast affirmers of truth, the martyrs and the righteous, and excellent are those as companions. And guys, what's the common denominator in all those archetypes shared here? Prophets, steadfast affirmers of truth, martyrs, and the righteous. It is honesty. They are honest with their world, so they honestly see the system happen. They're like, how do you teach honesty to a cruel world? You remind them that before they do anything cruel, there is realities beyond them. Like, wake up. There is no time for human beings to be evil on this planet. We just have to look for the most advanced. Evil is chaos. Chaos breaks its own accumulation. Do you know what I mean? It breaks its own plans. Anyways, I'm going to keep reading this. So it's 5, the ultimate victory. I read the verse. It says this verse, AI says this verse sums up the supreme company in the highest level. In summary, the Holy Quran says the highest level is nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Muqarrabun, in Al-Firdaus, the highest paradise, and in degrees of honor and truth with prophets, martyrs, and the righteous. It is attained through faith, truthfulness, sacrifice, patience, and righteous deeds. Then I say to ChatGPT, and what does it say about how to treat people and how to make money? AI says, excellent question. The Holy Quran is very clear on both how to treat people and how to earn wealth, because both are deeply tied to faith. Here's a breakdown with Holy Quranic references. 1. How to treat people. A. With justice and fairness. In Surah An-Nahl 16:19, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, indeed all commands justice, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands justice, excellence, and giving to relatives, and forbids immorality, bad conduct, and oppression. He admonishes you so that you may take heed. B. With kindness and good speech. In Surah Al-Baqarah 283, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and speak to people good words. In Surah Luqman 31:18, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and do not turn your cheek in arrogance away from people, nor walk in pride on the earth. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like every self-deluded boaster. And here it says, see with forgiveness and mercy. In Surah Fusilat 41:34, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, repel evil by that which is better, and thereupon the one whom between you and him is enmity will become as though he were a devoted friend. 2. How to make money. Earning wealth. A. Through honest trade. Surah Al-Baqarah 275. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah has permitted trade and has forbidden usury. This makes business and trade halal but forbids interest, in brackets riba. B. Avoiding fraud or cheating. Surah Al-Mutaffifin 83:1-3. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Woe to those who give less than due, who when they take a measure from people take in full, but when they give by measure or by weight to them, they cause loss. Yeah, wow. See, wealth is a test. Surah Al-Anfal 8:28. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And know that your wealth and your children are but a trial, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has with him a great reward. AI says money is not evil itself, but it is a test of honesty and gratitude. D. Balance earning with giving. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:110. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Establish prayer and give zakah, and whatever good you put forward for yourselves, you will find it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees what you do. Earning is tied to giving. Zakah and charity purify wealth. Summary: treatment of people. Be just, kind in speech, humble, forgiving, and fair. Making money, engage in honest trade, avoid interest in cheating, see wealth as a test, and give zakah and charity. The Holy Quran message is your dealings with people and your wealth are both acts of worship if done sincerely and ethically. That means what you're performing in the presence of the system admin. And guys, unfortunately, I think I can't find the rest. Oh my god. I thought it was here. I can't find it. Wow. It's not meant to be, I think. I have to kind of like, okay, I know what to do. I know what to do right now. Just hold on, guys. So, I'm Muslim. It means that I believe in a system admin beyond this world realm. I do consider reality to be a test. I do believe that in every moment our decisions and choices are showing us the value of our actions. There are moments in this world where meaning is like weather. Sometimes the day, it's a sunny day, but for the soul it's raining. The depth of the ability of 8 billion human minds in this world, and how do you really get to the point where there's a United Species Council? That humanity is not at war based on its differences. We're all different notes in a symphony. It's like a bunch of known bodies, with unknown minds trying to wonder how do we build an advanced civilization, then chill out. If they're like, yo man, you can say one thing that everybody on the planet hears, what would that be? I'd just say let's the advanced as possible, and let's attempt the most advanced. For me, my divinity has been based on the context of advancement. There has been just moments where I have been left in the moment as if abandoned even by a self. And as a presence in the moment, feeling the moment's being. You don't understand, there's a kind of humanity where we can talk to each other and be characters in some global story. That's it. The thing I can't find for you that I thought I had, before I started the lecture, this is I guess, sorry, like shortcoming from my side, but let me tell you what it was. Pretty much in Islam, there's this view that it's like when I say 3 steps to being a divine person, any person aware of the system admin is immediately divine, by the way. The whole point of it is the nearness to truth. That is the metric we as advanced humans are using. 100% we'll be using. Because let me tell you, it's a matter of not being so insecure that you're thinking your truth, and for one moment being like, okay, my whole life I have self-glorified myself, and let me for one moment wonder about the simulated realities. And really it's about those in a simulated testing zone, that it's like the only way out of this simulation is to notice the system admin. And the system admin is in an intelligence so beyond us that in presence of we just feel shame and regret. The ego can't stand in the presence of God. Do you understand what it is? It's like if you don't believe in God, you're believing in yourself. Yourself is being your God, so you're secretly worshiping yourself, right? But it's about what greater event is happening beyond the limits of our intelligence. The 3 steps were pretty much like those people. Okay, let me ask it again. That's a great idea. Alright guys, hold on. It's like okay, there we go. So it says the 3 stages of nearness to God. Qurb ila Allah. 1, ilm al-yaqeen, the knowledge of certainty, meaning you know God exists. Your belief is based on learning, reflection, and faith. You accept that the universe has a creator. At this stage, you believe through intellect and evidence, not direct vision. Example, you see smoke and know there is a fire, but you haven't yet seen the fire. In the Holy Quran, passage 102.5-6, it says if you knew with certainty, ilm al-yaqeen, you would see the blazing fire. That means you would see the consequences of your actions. So that's like becoming conscious of the system, I believe, a way of saying it. And then there is the second level, the second step of, let's say, being a divine person, that it's ayn al-yaqeen, the vision of certainty, meaning you see God's signs everywhere. You don't just believe, you perceive his design in every atom, every leaf, every event. Faith becomes vision. The divine system, nizam ilahi, reveals itself to your heart and mind. Example, now you actually see the fire. dash, not just the smoke. In the Quran, passage 41:53, it says, "We shall show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth." The system admin has designed the system to reveal to you, so you actually have a conscious decision to be like, okay, yo, there's a system admin to this world I've found myself in with a bunch of other souls. And what do we all do? So we got to acknowledge the system admin thing. It's like, yo, we were looking for intelligent, advanced contact with aliens. Like, that's nothing compared to contacting the system admin of reality, like a character in a novel, noticing the authors and watching it. The third level, so first level was the knowledge of certainty, the second level was the vision of certainty, and then the third level is haqq al-yaqin, the truth of certainty, meaning you become through God, your being aligns with His will, you live in constant awareness of His presence. Your ego dissolves and you act as a servant and representative, khalifa. In brackets, you no longer just know or see, you embody divine truth, justice, and mercy. Example, you enter the fire and find it to be light, not harm, like Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, peace be upon him, in the flames. And then there's a passage, Quran 56:95-96. It says, "Indeed, this is the truth of certainty, haqq al-yaqin. So glorify the name of your Lord, the Most Great." That means in your priority as an intelligent being, one, prioritize the most advanced power beyond all of us. So it says summary table, stage 1. Arabic term, ilm al-yaqin, meaning knowledge of certainty, believing God exists. Awareness level, intellectual faith. Stage 2, ain al-yaqin, vision of certainty, seeing God's signs everywhere, spiritual sight. Haqq al-yaqin, truth of stage 3, haqq al-yaqin, Arabic term, truth of certainty, becoming a living reflection of divine truth. Awareness level, union of heart, will, and action. It's as if they're like, yo man, how did you become so advanced? And the guy's like, I noticed I'm in the presence of the most advanced being, and immediately the best that I ever was standing was bowing in honor. You don't understand. In the presence of the great is there. That means greatness is what you are in the presence of. And what you're in the presence of is a container of reality, but the system admin is beyond how it's contained. Like, we're not only living in a simulated existential system, this system has users, mods, and it has a system admin. And Islam is that path that's saying go directly to the system admin. Forget any moderation, forget everything. Just realize that this world has a host, and to meet that host is like, that is, I think, it's like the way you get out of this simulation by realizing the whole simulation is aligned not to your will, but to the will of the system admin. So haqq al-yaqin is where the person has reached a point where God's presence is acknowledged as being there before their own presence. And it's fascinating how advanced we are. Perhaps we have forgotten. The greatest ability of the human species was to explore and not be convinced. We saw further than what we were, and we wondered, how could we not be it? There we go, guys. That's what I wanted to say, something in those lines. So it's like from one point you're like, okay, sure, there could be a system admin to this world. Then the next thing is like you're living life and the way things happen, you're like, okay, I can now be certain that there's a system admin and that moments are coordinated in ways that are beyond human valuing. That means what's happening on Earth is not just based on a human value system. And when you realize that, your life changes. You laugh a little and wonder about like how much else you're not seeing. So I don't know, guys. I think I got it across what I wanted to. I was like, yo, man, is it possible to see 3 levels to being a divine person? Well, in Islam, there is this view. To be honest, if you put aside culture, and if you think culture is the ego, but the conception fueling the civilization, what is our civilization aware of? That is the key. That is the question. How far can it go? We are here for some time and we leave. How can we serve the greater? Not the greater good, the greater greatness of our species, yo. Like, what is there to do when you have become bored of your life? Your species awaits you. We are living in the medieval ages. You don't understand. We're living in the medieval ages of the human psychology. Right now in 2025, the most advanced psychologists and most intellectual people are like, what do you mean we're living in the medieval ages of psychology and human mind and like this? Don't you see how sophisticated, like, you know, our university programs are? And I'll be like, nah, man, you don't get it. The scale is too far. That means right now we're living in ignorance levels. There's like, if you ask me right now, like how am I saying this? Like I'll be like, look at the average intelligent interaction levels of a human life throughout the day. People, their physical survival is a self-interaction. Their communication with others, you know, that's like an external interaction. Right, but what else do they communicate to? They communicate to technology, to humans, to their pets, you know, to even like, I don't know, that castaway guy, to like objects or whatever. You know what I mean? You can put spirit into anything that you have given meaning, and the depths of reality are present here. It's as if they're like, yo, man, are you some next level philosopher? Right? And I'm like, no, man, I'm that dude, like right at the edge of the ocean. And I'm like, guys, there's an ocean here. And people are like, we don't know anything other than sand. Don't bother us. And I'm like, WTF, like the ocean is right here. The system admin is in the room and man still thinks humans can, like, you know what I mean? Like humans can be like, we can be successful in the, like we can be friends with the species, but we're not clones of each other. For me, it was so bizarre because in my mind, ideas don't just arrive there. They are just kind of like, it's like this massive, like, how do I explain my mind to you? For me, when I realized there's a system admin here, it was strange, but it was like my soul took a breath of fresh air from having to be a specific ego all the time. And now it's more like the moment you realize there's a greater intelligence moving the system compared to yours, they're like, yo, man, why isn't this guy jealous of everybody who's greater than him? And they're like, because he's noticed the greatest ability. That means when you think about the outcome of the most advanced expression, it is unimaginable. Advancement is the constant exploration of the spirit of civilization, you know. towards the discovery of what awaits us in the unknown. There's so many ways to look at life. Brains are just like these. Like, honestly, like, when I see a human being, I'm like, yo, man, we are these, like, beings that, compared to all the beings around us, like all other species, have an awareness to the environment that is so unimaginable to them. Do you understand? Like, they put, like, this university put a giant mirror or something in the forest, and it was like they were like observing, like filming how animals go crazy. And I was like, what the, like, is that what like modern education is doing there? It was like both fascinating and cruel, but it was something that the other species cannot see what we see, and we as a species are responsible, you know? Like, sometimes when I look at like animals like squirrels and birds, I'm like, just like Uncle Ben looked at Peter Parker, it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. It's like every animal I've ever seen, in their eyes, they're like, yo, man, you're a higher species, go do something about this. It's all about, I think, having an ability to realize, like, what do you do in a world where there is a higher power? Divinity is just what is the relationship of the lower power with the higher power. That's it. The lower power is of a simulated nature, detailed design geometry. But the point of God is that it is beyond form. That means all humans are limited in a conditional existence, which has forms in it that define us. The divine is undefinable because there is no context to the context. So to be a divine person is like waking up and being like, okay, I am in the spotlight of the original creator of this created simulation. What do I do? And in that moment, you will realize the obvious action is to notice the system admin. And a way to notice the system admin is, in some sense, by, I think, every soul, if it just gives itself some time before it like locks into a thought, they will notice that the divine is how every moment is already programmed and kind of is sequenced. Everything is like, it's like, if they're like, okay, like how accurate was the Matrix movie, I would be like, there's humans right now are like an existential simulation, but they are also experiential simulation as well. It's like we're this unknown being experiencing ourselves, experiencing the whole moment where our body's in. And what we wonder about what we truly are and what is the limits to the, engine of manifestation. To me, it is for this world to have an owner is a very complex idea. I think it is the most advanced idea. Something that is so hard, I think, for savage animals to be capable of noticing. Like, it is such a high point in psychological revolution that, there were beings on this planet, humans, prophets, peace be upon them all, that were like, guys, everybody calm down, stop like worshiping objects in a temporary world. For a moment, realize that truth is a singularity beyond conception. That God is not something that the mind can create. That's the whole point. Do you know? And whether you're the most smartest person or the foolish person, it's like in the presence of the system admin, your soul, your what you truly are is being judged. It's like, why am I attending this moment of existence? For the system admin has designed it so. For me, it is the greatness of the species in the presence of a higher power. That technically means the higher power knows when it's going to happen. It's all going to be as it needs to be, but at the same time, what do we do with what we are? And what is the value of how far our species is truly aware of what's going on here? Anyways, guys, I hope this was a good lecture, but really the whole point of it is that, guys, it's like three kinds of people, man. One person is like, all right, I can just conceptually understand that, like, there's a system admin, but like, I don't know, I haven't experienced anything yet, right? The second person is like, buddy, it's not something you like wait for to experience. It's that the moment there's a system admin, everything you gave a known variable is double-edged with the unknown divine command. That means it's like, am I seeing how life is happening throughout the day, or am I seeing how the system admin is commanding how the whole shape of the whole moment changes? Islam has a very profound approach for a user, existential user, to meet the system admin, and its approach is like beyond. It's like you want to see signs, but the signs are already there. You want to find truth, but truth is already there. What is the greater meaning of all of this? And just because everybody agrees to something, does that mean it's the right thing, or does that mean mass fear had to choose something? For me, I'm like, to advance civilization is the coolest thing we can do. To be advanced beings is the coolest thing we can do. To have the most advanced systems is the coolest thing we can do. And if we can't do that, at least attempting to do that is the coolest thing we can do. What is God? It is a concept, but when we take a deeper look, it cannot be contained in form. Most people are looking for truth. The second level people are like, they know truth is here, but they're wondering about, okay, how am I being true? And the third level people, their relationship with the system admin is activated, and the system admin is, it's a greater relationship with a bunch of human beings figuring it out. It's like one monkey goes and holds the hand of a human being, and all the other monkeys are like, guys, what the hell, what do we do with that? You know, we don't know what to do with that. What does that mean, right? And so we have to come to the conclusion that we can't understand it. To notice your limits is can be as fascinating as noticing your limitless. To be a divine person is to realizing the divine presence of reality. Like, they're like, yo man, it has to be a miracle. I'm like, buddy, there's something specifically designed existing in the middle of this massive space. Like, that's proof to you of higher intelligence. This higher intelligence is not limited to form. The reason I know that 100% the Holy Quran is a divine revelation, it came from above, because the ideas it is sharing, the way the context of reality is, it is pure praise to the system admin. You don't know what I'm like. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're acquainted with your own intelligence as a human being. There is an intelligence beyond needing conditions to be maintained. That's the supreme. And I'm saying, like, you got to be able to realize as an existential simulated program that you have been functioning under ego code, which means playing the game of self-obsession till you die. And then you have to step beyond the meaning you have given reality and wonder about how far, how far the sky extends. You have been an eagle on a branch. And in this moment, I am telling you, fly into the greatness of the sky that you find, and people are going to be like, yo, man, there's no such thing as the sky. Only branches of trees exist. Imagine a bunch of eagles like having this very existential conversation. You know, it's like, nah, man, branches exist. And then one eagle's like, but guys, why do we have wings? What the F? Why are we just standing on branches all the, like, generations? You know? And other eagles are like, yeah, man, it doesn't make sense. Like, whatever we do, we think about it. It's like these wings are not designed to climb trees. And suddenly they reach a point where all eagles fly into the sky. They discover that it was all about contextual positioning. That means if somebody says, are all wars on the planet created due to the misdesigned contextual positioning of the human idea in the greater story of humanity? And I'll be like 100%, therefore it's like a mistake that was made by who knows what, and we've lived through, like, we've just grown through that mistake, and now we're wondering, yo, man, our mistakes are not that, like, heavy if the whole thing's a mistake. You know what I mean? That's not the correct way. The correct way is to find the original power source of the world you're in. And praise means that you can intellectualize it and articulate it in any, like, sophisticated you want. You can, like, you know, put like endless geometry, beautiful geometry on it, but it doesn't make it complete. At some point, once the ego discovers that it's limited, it's just waiting for the soul to set it free. Do you know what that means? That means if you've been a rude person, you just look at yourself for one moment and you're like, okay, this self has served me enough. I am now bored and I want to see what the other self would be like. You know, and internally it's a journey of self-hopping. Okay? It's fascinating, really. The human inner life is very different than the human outer life. The human outer life is like one story at a time. The human inner life is how many stories can there be to this moment. It's like realizing every moment of your life. There's been ways of looking at it that its value would be different. That means in every moment there's a hidden genius moment. Like, you can say this is also the fastest way to become a genius. To realize in every moment your DNA grants you with a unique viewpoint on reality, but how many other viewpoints on reality can there be, and what is the value of all these? It's like, could the divine be the center of the circle, you know, and the circumference is the simulation? To be in the presence of the higher power means, like, you're like, all right, I don't know what to do. Let's see. Like, is that what the system admin comes for us? Life has not become surviving on a planet. It has become what, like, the system admin's here. We're all here. What's gonna happen? How is it all going? How is the divine management? Now, when I say divine management, like most human beings manage their external reality through natural laws. So you look at this and you're like, okay, this is nature. And what laws is it acting in accordance to? Now, I'm that human being saying when you realize there's a system admin, it doesn't have to do with forces being constant all the time. It has to do with like, okay, what is the system admin commanding or has commanded for this moment to happen? Like in what way is this moment, should this moment happen? And your soul is witnessing the selves that you are expressing well. Behind our lives, we've lived through various eyes, many selves. In front of our eyes, we are a physical self. And it's a matter of just being in awareness to different dimensions, changing at different paces. For me, I was like, why? Like, do you know, right now, if they're like, hey man, you know, why do you want to build an advanced civilization? I'd be like, guys, if we didn't have a mind that could fathom it, if we didn't have a mind that like like our mind couldn't fathom an advanced civilization, I would not even bring this up. I'd be too busy in a micro game of life. But we cannot ignore. I'm like, hey guys, 8 billion human beings on the planet, It's like, just for a moment, imagine this is like you're reading a morning email and it's saying, all right, everybody on the planet acknowledges that there's a system administrator here. The system administrator is obviously administering the whole system. In order to do that, it is beyond the system. So the greatest greatness is beyond the limits of man's perception. What we call human knowledge was something that was like a response of a protocol to a reaction. Okay, our ancestors opened their eyes and they're like, this is too big, it's too unknown, it's too meaningless. It's like, what are we even, and they were like freaking out. And then somehow reality went forth in a way where they're like, okay, no. Everybody relax, we call this place Earth, and we call this that, and we started using naming as a species, using the mechanism of naming things to simulate a subjective self-existence where we train our minds are trained as through our upbringing as humans. It's like, before you die, don't you want to like kind of see like the greatest thing happening? Like, that's, I don't know, I think that it's just as a soul in this world, I am fascinated. My biggest prayer has been to get to see the most advanced truth. That means I on this planet, if they're like, what's motivating you to still be here? I'm just fascinated. What's gonna happen, and based on how I've lived so far, what does my soul actually deserve? Because it's a test. The test is, in some sense, can you notice the system admin, or are you still in, trapped in self-simulated meaning? Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Truth is beyond the human voice, but we praise it. The whole point of it is, when I think level 3 could be something like, you not only do you see every moment as like beyond nature's laws, behind the scenes of them is divine commands moving them. And reality is a commanded place. A command is instantaneous manifestation. That means there is no scientific explanation to instantaneous manifestation. It's like, how do we explain? Did the chicken come first or the egg? And it's like, no, both of them instantaneously manifested. This the whole cycle instantaneously manifested. And instantaneous manifested, it's another way of saying it was commanded by the system admin. For me, my soul to me is like, how did God command my soul before I was born? What am I truly, and how much of it is based on what, in the presence of what am I really? For me, God is a higher power. It is my mind's greatest ability to try to see the most advanced in all dimensions at the same time. And I have found it to be very true that it's a function of divine command before it is an egotistical satisfaction. How advanced can we really be? Before you realize the beginning can't be found and the ending can't be known, then the question is, okay, we are in the halls of the world. We are in the halls of the advanced humanity. We have opened our eyes and our world is not bored of looping. It is advancing in ways in all dimensions, all departments. It's like an advanced civilization is like seeing greatness wake up. And I'm just here waiting like, yo, God can instantly command, instantly wipe out everything. So if we are still here, the question is, what is the system admin watching or waiting for us to do here, really? That's actually it. And that depends on your relationship with the system admin. As a Muslim, I cannot make anything conditional equal to the unconditional. That means, what if they're like, yo, if you could be teleported anywhere, where would you want to be teleported? I would say the original truth. Take me to the original truth. The original truth is, in some sense, but see, even if I say that, that's the ego talking. In actuality, the whole point of it is there's a higher power, and the higher power knows more than you. So you can't be too convinced of yourself because there's something greater than you. Sort of existential humility and wondering about what role are we here to play, and why does our moment move this way. Thank you for listening. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful.